Sit. Seuss likes a stick. Come here, come here. Oh, he likes the sticks. He likes the sticks. Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in to Mickelson Racing Channel. Today, we are doing some cool stuff. First of all, let's get to work on the Caprice. Been a couple videos since you guys seen the Caprice, all right? This thing is full of trash from when I bought it. So first thing on the list, clean up the trash. Second thing on the list, let's test it with the Dragy. As you guys remember, this thing runs terrible. It's got the V-band missing from the header down to the exhaust underneath the car. So the driver's side only is running open header because it's missing a V-band. Why would you not fix that, right? Second thing that's wrong with the car is the O2 sensors are garbage. So we're gonna fix the header collector and put O2 sensors in it. Here's the plan. Let's go test it with the Dragy while it's all screwed up. Let's come back home. Let's put O2 sensors in it while the exhaust is nice and hot, because it's always nice to work on cars when they're nice and hot. And then let's put our header collector on the exhaust and get that how it's supposed to be. Then let's go test it on the Dragy again and see how much time we picked up. I think that'll be a really cool test to do. Maybe we'll do 3 passes before and then 3 passes after, so that we can pick up a good baseline average with each. First things first, let's get to work on cleaning out the car. All sorts of cool stuff inside the Caprice. We got a tie, which is pretty cool, tile saw, clothes hanger, some sort of like sheath, maybe, I don't know, knife or hatchet, or don't even know, a bunch of pop bottles and light stuff and receipts for various things, some scotch tape, sunglasses case. We've got a half-used, way more than half-used bottle of Rain-X. We've got a full oil change. We got Valvoline synthetic. It's not high mileage, even though it's got 130,000 on it. STP oil filter, you know, that's the good stuff. So we're not going to get the high mileage oil, but we're going to get the 10,000 mile STP oil filter. So good call on that. Anyway, I'm just glad that it came with a oil change, honestly. We got the trunk all cleaned out. Hey Zeus, what are you doing, bud? Trunk all cleaned out. There's some stuff back there, just a bunch of garbage, nothing really to write home about. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to go test this thing out with the Dragy, see what kind of times we get. We'll come back and we'll do some maintenance on it. It's always good to send your car on a quarter-mile run without doing any maintenance at all. Mint. All right guys, we're connected here to the Dragy. We got a good spot, good flat road. We're just gonna make one test it and see what we do. I've got traction control off. I've got it in sport mode. Ready? Let's go. Ready? Let's go. Let's see, our 60 foot was 2.29, which is not that great. Our quarter mile is 13.31 at 108. So the Impala is faster than the Caprice and quicker than the Caprice in the quarter. Interesting note. That was was pretty fun. Let's go back to the farm now. Let's put a V-band on this exhaust. Let's put some O2 sensors in here that are actually going to work. And let's see if this car can pick up any sort of decent time on this here. So we'll see you guys back at the farm. We're going to get this thing on the air, let it cool down. And then we're going to put 2 O2 sensors in it, and then we're going to V-band the exhaust. And we'll see how that goes. As you can see, it's running pretty terribly. It's smoking a lot because of all the raw fuel that's coming out of here. It's just terrible, really terrible. But hopefully we can fix that with our V-band and O2 sensors. So here's what we got going on with the exhaust. Check out that. Why would you not fix that and put a V-band back on it? Get rid of all the noise and, you know, all that stuff. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me why you wouldn't do that. And then look how sooty it is inside there. You can see how sooty and terrible it is. That O2 sensor is covered in soot. So we're going to replace that because I would almost guarantee that that is just shot. There you can see the other V-band on that side, nice and secure. So yeah, we'll just put that back on and hopefully we'll be rocking and rolling. An update, this is day number 3 of trying to put O2 sensors into the Caprice. This has been really a trying project for me because of age and rust and just a bunch of stuff that's just going the wrong way on the car, but we're making progress. So as you can see on the Caprice, we now have the headers off of the car just to replace O2 sensors. Yep, both headers are gone, which is really cool. Mortsky came over to help me. He looked at it and said, yeah, pull the headers, screw that. Doesn't look like fun. I'm gonna go hunt some muskrats. So that's what Mortsky did. We do have one header in the back of the Blazer. I was able to thread a brand new O2 sensor into this without much of a problem, so I'm pretty happy with that. The other one is what is having huge issues. When I pulled the O2 sensor out of that header, the threads came with it. So we have been having just a heck of a time with that. I was trying to get a new O2 sensor bung, but I could not locate one. So now what we are going to do is I found this really handy dandy O2 sensor tap in my toolbox. I've got some anti-seize, which we're going to put on the tap, get it all nice and dirty and gross. I am right now heating up the O2 sensor bung with some MAP gas to try to soften the metal a little bit. And we're going to attempt to tap out that hole, give us some half decent threads to hook our O2 sensor into, and then we'll be well on our merry way. If this works, I'm really praying that this works. I want to be done with this project. Check out our old O2 sensor. Look how black and sooty that thing is. You can tell that they were not working because that was burning a lot of raw fuel. Well, it wasn't burning the fuel, that's why it was raw. But anyway, really rich, terrible looking. We're gonna put some new suckers in this and hopefully the Caprice runs better. So we're on with the dilemma. All right, check it out, folks. I thought this thing was dead, but we were able to save it with this O2 sensor tap. This was the first time I used it. I don't know how long it's been in my toolbox, but I found it in there. We tried it out. I've got some pretty good torque on the O2 sensor. It's definitely not perfect. And the new threads are not going to hold as much torque as the original threads. So keep that in mind if you guys are ever doing this. We lubricated it up with some anti-seize. There was some anti-seize on the threads from the new O2 sensor. So hopefully that'll keep this thing from rusting in there. Although next time those will have to be replaced, we'll probably have to weld in new bungs anyway. Just one of those things we're going to have to do. But this O2 sensor is in there. There's some pretty good torque on it. I'm fairly confident that this is not going to pop out of there or loosen up or anything like that. It was a bonus having that metal heated up that made it a little bit softer, a little easier for that tap to cut in some new threads. So pretty happy with that. Let's get to putting these headers back in the car because that was a debacle that I do not want to do again. We can move on from this and hopefully do better. Also, we got some new stuff in for the 240, so if you guys are interested in that, check out the video. I'll have the link down below. We got ISR Y pipe in to connect our headers. That's going to help my header build move a little quicker to give me a reference point to build off of and whatnot. Anyway, back to the Caprice. Oh my goodness, guys. We've got the headers back on finally. We've got passenger side header on. That one was a bit more challenging. The driver's side, we've got all sorts of room. It's pretty open in here. I think I've got all my spark plug wires on and all my coil wires on. It's kind of hard to tell for me at the angle I was at, but I think they are on. I've got the O2 sensors plugged in on both sides. There was a vacuum reference line. That blue line back there was falling down onto the header, so that is tied up out of the way. I've got all spark plug and coil wires on this side also. Kind of hard to see because that side is tight. I've got the oil dipstick back in. You've got to take that out to get the headers down and out of the car. So that's all in there. So I think we are ready to go onto the exhaust. All right, go into the car. Let's check out this exhaust situation. All right, guys, so the car is so low that it rubs off the V-bands. You can see this one is just about to take a dump on us, and that's what happened to the driver's side. The driver's side V-band had rubbed through and fallen off the car, but that's no problem. We can get new V-bands. I don't have a new one for this side, but I can order one up and we'll get another one coming. Not a huge deal. I just want to reference how spread apart the pipe is from the header. You can see we've got a good, I don't know, inch and a half on this side, and it's the same way on the other side. I've got it staged up with some wood. So I think what we're gonna do is put a ratchet strap on both pipes and then crank that thing in so they come together a little bit and we can get the V-bands where we need them to be. I'm not sure why it's spread out so far, if it's just heat cycling or if it was built just a little bit out of spec. You know, it's hard to say, but we're gonna put a ratchet strap on this thing and crank it in a little bit, and hopefully we can suck that in enough to put our V-band on. Well, folks, it's been an all-day progress, but we are finished up with the work today on the Caprice. We have V-bands hooked up on the header collectors. We have the V-bands tightened down all the way to the back, and we have all the O2 sensors plugged in. Should be all good to go. V-bands are good. I did have to steal a V-band from the trunk because the cheapest one on Amazon is the one I bought to replace the one that was missing, and of course the T-bolt was not long enough, so I had to steal one off the back because it had a longer T-bolt, and then I used the new one off Amazon back here. It was a struggle, but we got it on. So as you can see here in my missing trunk floor, we have the brand new V-band there, and one just like that I stole. You can see how much longer the tip of the T-bolt is on each one. That allowed me to get a nice good clamping load on the one in front for the header collector. So we are done with the maintenance on the Caprice, other than an oil change, which I'm not sure I'll do now. I'll do it shortly. But let's go ahead and fire this thing up and make sure that the maintenance we did was successful. Let's fire this thing up and make sure we're not running terribly rich. Make sure that our new O2 sensors are working great and that our V-bands are sealed and we're getting exhaust all the way out the back. So we should be a reduction in noise, should be a little bit quieter now, which will be really beneficial for driving. nice sound to it now. That's way better. We are going through the muffler system, not through the vacuum actuated MPP valves. We still appear to be running pretty rich though. I don't know if you guys can see how much smoke is coming out of there. But the richness is a concern for me. We do appear to be running on all 8 cylinders, which means the spark plug wires are all plugged in, so that's good. This thing is back and better than ever. What do you guys say we take a ride? Let's compare the Dragy to the time before the repairs. Let's see if we picked up any time on that Dragy. With those new O2 sensors in place, it is a bunch quieter inside the car. Thanks to the header collector being V-band into the exhaust now, so we got exhaust going all the way out the back, which is super helpful. I don't feel like I'm suffocating from exhaust fumes now, so that is really awesome. I feel like you can actually drive this car. So we're gonna go over, we're gonna sneak it down to this spot here, and then we're gonna give it a shot with the Dragy and see if we picked up any improvement over the new maintenance that's been done. All right, guys, we've got the Dragy ready to go. Let's see how it does. We are in drive, sport shift, traction off. Let's see if we can pick up some improvement. Ready? All right, guys, this is pretty crazy. So on Thursday, before the modifications, we ran a 13.31 at 108 miles an hour. Now today, we ran a 13.31 at 111 miles an hour. So that means our 60 foot was worse because we went the same amount of time, but had more mile an hour. So I think with another test run, I think we could beat that 13.31. This thing is running significantly better. You can feel it. We did have a traction problem off of the hit on the 60 foot, and I tried to pedal it, and the automatic transmission ended up upshifting, which I believe hurt us in the 60 foot. So let's try this again, and we'll try not to spin off the line, or at least not spin as bad. Maybe I'll try to roll into it just a little bit, but let's give it another run. Spun through second, got rubber in third. Spun through second, got rubber in third. All right, what did we do that time? 60 foot, 2.26. A little bit of an improvement. We had quarter mile time of 1280 at 114. That's 60 foot. I got nothing. I'm on pavement, coming on and off gravel roads. It's gonna be slippery, so that's a little bit of a challenge getting that 60 foot down. We had a 60 foot at 2.26, which is terrible. For reference, my Impala, my 65 Impala drag car that runs 11s with a big block, that thing cuts 60 foots in the 1.6, 1.5s if I got really good weather. So if we're doing a 2.26, this 60 foot is just terrible, not that great. Much room for improvement. However, with a quarter mile time of 12.8 at 114, there's room to grow. My Impala runs mid-11s, like 1150s, 1160s, 1170s, somewhere in there. And we hit the traps at about 114, 115 miles an hour, 117 sometimes with good weather. So if we're doing 114 miles an hour through the traps, this thing is on point with my Impala. And that means like 12, 11 second passes with this Caprice. So if we can somehow get a better 60 foot off the line, we're gonna be able to make this car really do some cool work. That was a hard hit. This thing is so low to the ground. Guys, we're gonna have to get this thing to the track. Getting on a sticky surface where we can get a half decent, valuable launch out of this thing is gonna make a night and day difference in what this will do. All right guys, that is gonna do it for this video. Thanks for watching. We have determined that the Caprice has lots of potential. What do you guys think we should do next? Drop it down in the comments. I'd like to make this thing go faster. I'd like to hit a track and see what it can really do. We have proved that this is competition for the Impala. Remember to like and subscribe right here in the corner of this video. We will see you next week on the Mickelson Racing Channel.